Hello everyone, welcome to Botany Insider, and in this lecture we would be dealing with one of the most important topic from unit 13, that is methods in biology, and the topic is agrobacterium mediated gene transformation. So before starting the topic, let us understand about the bacteria which we are focusing upon, that what it is and what are its nature. Why? Because questions have been framed many times from this area. This is one of the most important topic, as almost every year you can expect a question from the same. So talking about the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, so it is a type of a rod shaped bacteria which is a soil pathogen, and there are approximate 1 to 6 flagellas present on its body. That means it is peritrichous in nature. And what is peritrichous? We have already discussed about it in the microbial physiology lecture. So if you have not yet watched that lecture, I would put the links of the same in the description box. It is a type of gram-negative bacteria. It is also given the name of natural genetic engineer. Why? We'll understand about the same in this particular video. The next important point is that there is the presence of TI plasmid, because TI plasmid is present in Agrobacterium tumefaciens, hence it is given the name of natural genetic engineer. What is TI plasmid? We'll understand about this in a bit. It grows best at 28 degrees Celsius temperature. The doubling time of the bacteria is about 2.4 to 4 hours. It can infect the plant and cause the disease, and the most common type of disease that is caused by the Agrobacterium is the gall crown disease. The updated scientific name of this particular bacteria is Rhizobium radiobator. So as you can see in the picture, we have the Agrobacterium. So when a plant is infected by the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, there occurs a tumor-like growth on its body. So we can see the Agrobacterium transfer the DNA between itself and the plants. And as a result of this infection, you can see this gall crown disease to be seen on the bark of the tree and also on the young stems also. So it is one of the most infectious bacteria that is present in the nature, which can infect the cell to a very harmful extent. So let's talk about the TI plasmid. And before TI plasmid, what is a plasmid? So plasmid in simple word means the extracellular chromosome that is present in the bacteria, and the most important work of this plasmid is to help the plant in order to generate its copy. It does not have a essentiality for survival, but it provides an additional importance or an additional advantage to the bacteria. We have already studied about that what are plasmid and what are its various type in the microbial physiology lecture. So talking about the general structure of the TI plasmid, so we have the tDNA region, we have the virulence region, we have the origin of replication which is ORI, we have the opine catabolism region present in the TI plasmid. Talking about the tDNA region, so there are various sub-regions in the tDNA region. So we have the left border and the right border, and in between them we have the auxin synthesizing area, we have cytokinin synthesizing area, and the opine. What are auxin and cytokinin? These are a kind of the plant hormones. We have discussed about the plant hormones in complete detail in the previous videos. So this is the elaborative structure of the TI plasmid that we are talking about. So we have the tDNA region having the left border repeats and the right border repeats, and then between the two repeats we have the auxin synthesizing region, we have the cytokinin synthesizing region, and the opine synthesizing region is also present. Moving forward, we have the virulence region, which is abbreviated as VIR region, and there are various vir or virulence genes present. Each of the virulence gene have a specific function to perform. For example, we have VIR1, which is the wound signal receptor. We have the VIR2, VIRG, which is the vir activator. We have VIRC, D, E, F and H. We'll discuss about each one of them in the subsequent slides. Then we have the origin of replication, which is helping in the replication origin and the incompatibility detection, that whether the plant or whether the bacteria and the plant all together are compatible or not. We also have the mannitile opine catabolism. We also have the octopine catabolism region and also TRA region, which is the conjugal plasmid transfer between the bacteria. You need not to go into the depth of what is TRA and what is OCC. We'll discuss about the important components in detail. So this is the virulence region that we have to focus. So we have the various vir genes, that is VIR A, B, G, C, D, E, F and H. So let's discuss about the various VIR genes in detail. So the first gene that comes into action is the VIR1. So it is a kinase protein and it acts as a receptor for the compound. And what compound? So the compound that is released by the plant when it encounters any wound or when there is any injury to the plant, there occurs the release of phenolic compound. Phenolic compound that is released by the plants is the acetosyringone. So this VIRA acts as a receptor for this phenolic compound, that is acetosyringone. And the VIRG and VIRA, they are expressed continuously and they respond to the phenolic compound. That means first we have the VIRA, which responds or which actually receives the signals from the wound of the plant. It in turn activates the VIRG, and because this machinery or because this particular mechanism have to function for all the time, because any time a plant could release the signal and there should be the VIRA and VIRG to be expressed continuously in order to respond to the phenolic compound. So when the VIRA gets responded or gets activated by the help or gets received by the phenolic compounds, it activates the VIRG, and the VIRG then activates all the other VIR genes. The first gene that we need to keep in mind is the VIRE and E2. The main function that they perform is they protect the tDNA against the nucleases and they target the tDNA to the plant cells, and they also act as single-stranded binding proteins. We'll discuss about these functions when we look into the procedure completely. Then we have VIRC. Then we have VIRC, which stimulates the transfer and promotes the high efficiency of the T-strand synthesis. Then we have VIRD, which is responsible for the virulence action of the bacteria. Then we have VIRD1, which is a type of topoisomerase. It helps the VIRD2 to recognize and cleave with the 25 base pair sequence, that is the left border. The borders that we have discussed, that is the left border and the right border, each one of them is 25 base pairs long. So the D1, that is VIRD1, helps to cleave the left border of the tDNA. Then we have VIRD1, it cuts the left border, and VIRD2 cuts the right border. Make sure you remember that which VIRD is cutting which particular border. We have VIR1 cutting the left border and the VIR2 cutting the right border. And one more important point to remember is that when they cut the tDNA border, they cut the single strand, not the double strand. Only the single strand is cut by these VIR genes and attaches at the 5' site of the right border. That is, when the VIRD1 and VIRD2 cuts, they actually attaches to the 5' site of the right border. Now one important point to keep in mind is that the tDNA moves in the direction of the right border towards the left border. That initially we have the right border and then we have the left border. So this is the direction in which the tDNA moves from the bacteria into the plant. Then we have the VIRC, which stimulates this transfer of the tDNA into the plant cell, and then we have VIRE2 that protects from the nuclear degradation, and by the process or via the process of recombination, it integrates to the plant DNA. That is, when the tDNA from the bacteria, by the help of the various genes that we have studied, gets transported from the bacterial cell into the plant cell, there occurs a integration of this tDNA when it enters into the plant cell. So this is helped, or this is performed by the, or this is actually facilitated by the VIRE2 gene. So VIRB and VIRD4 makes the route between the plant and the bacteria for the passage of the tDNA. That is, consider we have this bacteria and this as the plant cell. So when this bacteria would be transporting or would be transferring the tDNA from the bacteria into the plant cell, there requires a route. So this route of transport is actually formed by the VIRB and VIRD4 genes. And when this route is formed, the type of this route is T4SS, that is type 4 secretion system type of route is formed. Make sure you remember about T4SS. So this is the type of the route that is formed by the VIRB and VIRD4 in order to promote or in order to provide a passage or a route from the bacteria into the plant cell. Then we have VIRD2 and the VIRE that have NLS for the direction towards the nucleus. What is NLS? So NLS in simple word means nuclear localization signals. Why? Because see, we have the bacteria and we have the plant. The route is formed by the help of VIRB and D4, and when the tDNA enters into the plant cell, it need to go towards the nucleus. Why? Because all the genes that the bacteria need to attack is present in the nucleus. Hence, this tDNA must be having some nuclear localization signals in order to have a direction. So this NLS or the nuclear localization signal for the direction towards the nucleus is provided by the VIRD2 and VIRE. Then we have VIRF that works as E3 ubiquitination ligase pathway that degrade the plant immune system, that is VPI1. Now why VIRF is required? See, we have formed the route from the bacteria to the plant by the help of VIRB and VIRD4. We have transported the tDNA from the cytoplasm into the nucleus of the plant cell by the help of the VIRD2 and VIRE. Now, because or as the plant must be having some machinery in order to fight against the foreign tDNA, the tDNA need to have some protection. So this protection is provided by the VIRF that works as E3 ubiquitination ligase system that degrades the plant immune system, so that when the tDNA enters or when the tDNA is functioning in the plant cell, there could be a smooth and proper functioning. So it destroys the plant immune system. So this is the function of the VIRF. So this was all about all the genes, all the virulence genes that are involved in this particular mediation pathway. Now let's discuss about the basic pathway that is followed. So as we have discussed that the plant wound releases phenols. That is, when a plant has some kind of injury, it tends to release some phenolic compounds out of those wounds. Example, acetosyringone. So these acetosyringones are sensed by VIRA. Now VIRA would now be activating the VIRG, and VIRG would now be in turn activating all the other virulence gene that we have studied in order to complete or in order to initiate the process of this mediation. Now when the VIRG is activated, the bacteria accumulates in the wound, and after the accumulation there occurs the transfer of the tDNA into the plant cell by the help of the various virulence gene that we have studied. And after the transportation or after the transfer, there occurs overproduction of the auxin and the cytokinin. Why? We have discussed about the structure of the TI plasmid. In that we have the tDNA region which is transported from the bacteria into the plant cell, and in this tDNA region we have the region of auxin synthesis, we have the region of cytokinin synthesis, and also the region of opine synthesis. So when this tDNA enters into the plant cell, there occurs overproduction of the auxin and cytokinin, and as we know, auxin and cytokinin are the plant hormones that actually activates the cell division and cell elongation in the plant. And because of overproduction of these phytohormones, there occurs unlimited growth of the cell into the plant cell or into the area of the plant where the bacteria have infected. And because of overproduction of these phytohormones and overformation or overproduction of the cells, there occurs the formation of tumor. And as a result of the overproduction of the cells and leading to the tumor formation, we could see these bulge like structures on the stem as a outgrowth. So these outgrowths are nothing but the crown gall disease that is caused by the plant bacterium. This overproduction leads to cell division, and the cell division is seen on the stem, and this complete process or this complete outgrowth is called crown gall, and hence the name is given as crown gall disease. So now let's understand about that how this complete mechanism takes place. So see, we have the plant signaling. Why? Maybe this plant must be having some kind of wound, so it released the phenolic compound which led to the initiation, or the VIR-A genes receives these plant signals and it activates the VIR-G sensors. Now the virulence gene get activated, then we have the VIRE2 causing the single stranded binding proteins and TI plasmid to be cut down into the tDNA. And now with the help of the various virulence genes that we have studied, there occurs the formation of the root passage, and it occurs by the help of IRB and the D4 virulence genes. Now this tDNA enters into the plant cell. There occurs the presence of the host factors which are killed by the VIRF. There is the presence of the nuclear localization signals, which is the NLS, which is actually helped or which is present on the VIRD2 and VIRE. And by the help of the nuclear pore complex, there occurs the entry of the tDNA from the cytoplasm into the nucleus of the cell, and then there occurs the integration of this tDNA into the genome of the plant cell. So this is the basic functioning, or this is the basic mechanism that is taken up by the tDNA. This is the elaborative way in which the complete process occurs. So see, we have the plant signals. There could be the acid, phenolics or the sugars, and these are sensed, or there occurs the sensing of the plant signals by the bacteria, and the sensing is done by the help of the VIRA, which activates VIRG, and this VIRG now activates all the other virulence genes or all the other virulence factors, and now the various VIR helps in the complete process. initially the right border enters the plant cell and then the left border. So there occurs the entry into the plant cell via the help of a transport or via the help of a route which is formed by the VIR-B and VIR-D4, and they form a T4SS, that is type 4 secretory system. And now there is the presence of VIR-E2 on this tDNA, which acts as a single stranded binding protein, and also VIR-F helps to kill the immune system of the plant cell, and also the NLS is present on the D2 and the VIR-E, because of which the tDNA is targeted towards the nucleus. Now the tDNA enters into the plant cell's nucleus, and finally there occurs the integration, and as a result of the integration there occurs auxin and cytokinin production. Overproduction occurs actually, and which leads to the tumor formation. Also, in addition to auxin and cytokinin production, there also occurs the production of opine, and this opine is actually used by the bacteria in order to have its utilization. How the plant and the bacteria are both attached to each other via a root. Hence, the bacteria uses the opine by synthesizing it into the plant cell and then taking it up from the plant cell by the help of the opine permease channel protein that is present, and hence there occurs the opine utilization. So this is all about the complete process of the agrobacterium mediated gene transformation. So let's talk about the gene cloning. Why? Because we are studying about agrobacterium mediated gene transformation. So let's understand about that, how the gene transformation actually occurs, or how the bacteria is called the natural genetic engineer. This is why, because we have the Agrobacterium tumefacium having the TI plasmid, there is the presence of tDNA. So what the scientist could do is they could genetically change the areas of the tDNA and insert the gene of interest, and removing out the areas of the auxin and cytokinin. So in this way they could use it as a process, or they could use it as a way in order to have the actual characteristics that the scientists desire in a new trait. So we have initially the insertion of the gene into the plasmid using the restriction enzyme and the DNA ligase. There is the formation of the recombinant TI plasmid, and this recombinant TI plasmid is then introduced into the plant in the culture, and now the plant cell actually have the tDNA which carries the new genes within the plant genome, and then there occurs the regeneration of the plant, and as a result of the insertion of a desired or a changed gene into the plant, there occurs a plant, or the plant that is produced is the plant with a new trait. So this is the basic mechanism, this is the basic way in which the complete gene cloning process takes place. Engineers are actually changing the auxin and the cytokinin areas by the desired trait, and as a result of the change there occurs a change in the expression of the genes into the plant, and hence a new trait is formed. So this was all about the complete topic of the agrobacterium mediated gene transformation. Let us quickly just solve one question in order to have the complete topic analyzed. So this is the question from part C. So the question says that a student noted the following points regarding Agrobacterium tumefaciens, and these are the points that are given, and we need to find out that which of the combination of the above statements is correct. So based upon whatever we have studied, let us try to solve this question. Option 1 says that Agrobacterium tumefacium is a gram-negative bacterium. This is the correct statement as we have just studied about the same. Then we have the opine catabolism genes present in the tDNA region of the TI plasmid. This is an incorrect statement. Why? This is one of the statement which many of us confuses. So if we look closely to the diagram of the TI plasmid, the opine catabolism region is present outside the tDNA, and in the tDNA we have the opine synthesizing region. Hence option B is incorrect. So let us just cancel out the B point. So B cancels out in 3 of the option, and just by reading out 2 options we have found out our correct answer, that is option D. Let us quickly read out other 2 points as well. So we have the option C as opines are synthesized by the condensation of the amino acid and the alpha keto acids, or the amino acids and the sugar. This is a correct statement, and also an additional information which you can add down into your notes. The last point says that a callus culture of crown gall tissues caused by Agrobacterium tumefaciens in the plant can be multiplied without adding any phytohormones. Yes, it is a correct statement. Why? Because the tDNA is having the auxin and the cytokinin phytohormones in order to have the multiplication of the cells initially. So option A, option C and option D are correct. Hence we got the final answer as the option D. So you can see, you can expect every single year one question from this area in one way or the other. This makes this topic very, very important. So with this, we are done with the complete topic of Agrobacterium mediated gene transformation, and along with one practice question. So I hope this video was helpful for you. So if you like this video, please do like, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel. And also I'll be coming up very soon with more informative videos as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.